Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos sean al episodio número 13, me parece, contando, 13 y antepenúltimo. Estamos muy cerca de terminar la serie de la beta de Santuario. Recuerden que Santuario va a seguir después de la salida de Diablo 3. eh, va a seguir como una serie que va a ir saliendo cada semana, digamos. Eh, Así que por eso no se espanten, pero por lo menos vamos a hacer una pausa en el episodio número 15, que va a ser el final, y de ahí vamos a seguir con Santuario en alguna otra ocasión cuando sea correspondiente. En el episodio de hoy voy a revisar, o vamos a revisar en realidad, lo que es el diario, que es básicamente una de las características que nos permiten saber más historia dentro de Diablo 3. Les voy a mostrar esto primero porque sé que viene un parche de beta muy pronto y no quiero perder el personaje porque con este tengo todos los audios, excepto uno que todavía no lo puedo encontrar y está muy difícil de encontrar. Eh, pero digamos tengo el 99,8% de todos los audios, así que es buena idea que los revisemos ahora para que no me los borren después. Básicamente lo que es el diario es una recopilación de todos los textos que uno va encontrando en el camino, digamos cuando uno está haciendo las aventuras y todo eso. Y también cuando uno mata criaturas nuevas va a haber una referencia tanto de Deckard Cain como de Abdalazir, creo que se llama el tipo, que son como dos tipos escolares, podríamos decir, que son tipos que saben un poco sobre las criaturas que han empezado a surgir en el santuario. Básicamente de lo que va es mencionan un poco las historias que se mencionan en estos libros, las historias por ejemplo de Gillian, de un viajero, por ejemplo, el diario antiguo de Deckard Cain, el diario nuevo de Deckard Cain, los pergaminos de Lagdanan que dan mucha historia por lo demás, o saber lo que piensa Lía, por ejemplo. Entonces todas esas cosas son como bien interesantes de ver. O por ejemplo cosas que están en el mundo y que sucedieron en el mundo y uno quizás no se las hubiera imaginado, como por ejemplo lo que le pasó a Warriff, que es el tipo que nos lleva desde el campamento de las arpías hasta Lutko Lane, si ustedes se recuerdan en Diablo 2. Entonces cosas chiquititas como esas son súper interesantes de revisar. Entonces vamos a ver eso, vamos a escuchar el audio en inglés eh, y vamos a, digamos, tener el texto en inglés y al lado derecho vamos a tener la traducción del texto a castellano. No he podido encontrar los audios en español por distintas razones de partida, básicamente porque el Diablo 3 no está en su versión beta en español, así que hay que montarse con el inglés. Y eso, ojalá les guste lo que van a escuchar a continuación, lo que van a leer a continuación, porque es un poco de historia de Santuario y creo que a todos nos viene bien. Así que eso, yo me despido ahora en realidad, porque todo lo demás va a ser por audio. Y que estén súper bien, que lo disfruten y nos vemos. Chao, chao.
We've been under siege for 6 days now. Uncle Deckard is still missing. Captain Rumford and the others are losing hope. I tell them not to lose faith, but if help doesn't arrive soon... A miracle has happened. A hero, like one out of Uncle Deckard's tales, appeared and saved us. I know in my heart that my uncle still lives, and I pray that the hero will bring him home safely. Uncle Deckard is home, rescued from the clutches of the Skeleton King. I'm so glad. But the Skeleton King, I thought he was a folktale. The idea of Mad King Leoric returning to torture this place. Hasn't Tristram suffered enough?
We have come at last to Tristram's old cathedral. This is where Diablo, Lord of Terror, first corrupted mankind. This is where I may finally find the answers I seek. Leah worries after my safety, but I believe information vital to defeating the last lords of the burning hells can be found here. I wish that Leah could live a different life, a more normal life. But alas, such is not her fate. When I pass, there is none but her to continue my work, and the future of this world hangs in the balance. I can no longer deny the true nature of the evil that rises from the depths of the cathedral. It is almost too horrible to admit the truth of it. It is the Dark Lord of Terror, Diablo himself, who plagues us. The vile staff of Lazarus was brought to me today, confirming my suspicions. There is no longer any doubt that Lazarus kidnapped Albrecht, and perhaps even freed Diablo from his ancient prison. Who knows what further treachery he has planned?
My name is Lachdanan, and I am cursed. Once the captain of King Leoric's army, I lived only to honor my land and my king. No man has a greater love for his king than I had for mine, even as I drove my blade through his dark and corrupted heart. It was Lazarus, of that I am certain. He alone had the king's ear, and whispered dark and evil magics into it, instilling the notion of an imminent attack by Westmarch. Afraid to speak against the archbishop, the councillors nodded their empty heads in agreement, and sent us off to die. When we returned from our horrific defeat in Westmarch, my beloved king lost all pretense of sanity. He seethed with rage, spitting curses upon us as traitors. With great sorrow, I ran him through. I will forever live in anguish for my last attempt to honor my king. As we lay him to rest in his burial chamber, he manifested as a hideous skeletal demon. Gorash and my other knights were overcome at once, but I fought on. And now I wander, cursed by my once beloved king. Evil gnaws at my bones, and I cannot risk putting my beloved Tristram in danger, should I fail to contain that which tears at me. I must venture down into the labyrinth, to die alone.
We have just arrived in Tristram, and I must say, I'm a bit dismayed. This place is a backwater filled with serfs and an ancient broken-down monastery, hardly fit for the King of Condoris. I cannot fathom why Lazarus was so intent on this becoming our new seat of power. A fetid, pallid malaise has fallen over the manor we now call home. Young Albrecht seems to be enjoying himself in our new home, however, even with his brother Aidan off to become a warrior. Perhaps I am simply suffering from an imbalance of humors brought on by the recent change of clime.
Praise the powers that be. Griswold, bless his dear heart, risked everything to bring that dear boy home from the cathedral. Though he is troubled and moody now, I am certain it will pass, and he will once again be the sweet wort we all love.
Aidan came to me last night. I suspected what was lurking within his troubled heart. I consoled him as best I could. Regardless, wherever he's headed, hell will surely follow in his wake. The shadows close in on Tristram once again, but like Aidan, I'll be gone before they fall.
There's chaos everywhere, and word in town is that Lachdanan killed the king. If only this is true, perhaps our days and nights of living in terror are behind us now.
Ogden and his wife have offered to let me and grandmother continue to stay with them. I think we will, now that the troubles are over. I am still tormented by horrific nightmares. I keep hoping they will fade, but they seem to be getting stronger. To think I was once afraid of Adria. She is going to take me to Chaldeum with her soon. Chaldeum? I never thought to see it with my own eyes. Though it saddens me to leave Ogden and his wife, Adria assures me that she will find a cure for my nightmares.
I had heard the rumors, but I thought them just fancies of bored women, until I saw them dragging people through the streets today. Our own citizens! Has the world gone mad?
While exploring a cave with hopes of finding hidden treasure, I came upon a most grisly sight. A heap of dead bodies. Unbelievably, as I was searching them for any items of value, they began to rise. I must tell them of this in New Tristram before it's too late.
My dearest Heydrich, do not feel despair, my love. You did everything you could. Our time together meant more than words can say. But in the end, fate is a cruel mistress. Your strength is needed to end the horrors that beset this world. My final wish
is that you find your path. Love always. Mira.
The rumors of torture and worse grow every day. What has happened to Tristram and its king? I once thought Leoric a great man, but it seems I was deceived. We all were. He sends our meager army against Westmarch on the morrow. What will become of us?
The cold ground welcomes the foul bodies of these cruel men. They sought to prolong their lives through forbidden magic at great and cruel cost to others. Their evil fed on itself until it consumed them all, and they found themselves at the end of a hangman's rope.
I returned to Honduras after 20 years. The burden of countless failures and tragedies heaped upon my shoulders. Am I being punished for helping that stranger hunt the Dark Wanderer? I always thought Deckard Cain half a madman, but perhaps he was right. Perhaps he can banish the shadow hanging over my life. I, Deckard Cain, have spent many years traveling and writing about the strange creatures in our world, but the sight of the wretched mothers still haunts me. They are the remnants of Queen Asilla's slaughtered handmaidens who were twisted by foul magic. Now they feast upon cadavers and regurgitate them as newly formed, risen dead.
Dear reader, I am Abdalhazir, adventurer, scholar, and researcher. I share my knowledge of this incredible world and its creatures through my insightful missives, often at grave risk to myself. Why, I was recently in Honduras, where my tents were ransacked by vicious quill fiends. I was able to beat them off with a shoe, but a less bold man would have fared far worse.
The tragedies in these lands have left many restless spirits in their wake, and they demand retribution. These spirits will take out their vengeance on any unsuspecting individual who may pass, for they believe that the blood of the living will yet restore the lives that were ripped away from them.
The unburied are formed from human corpses that were flung into mass graves without a proper burial. This hideous amalgamation of bodies decomposes together into one being, bound by some foul magic. For all my knowledge, I could only flee from it, and I would expect any other sensible person to do the same.
Demons have been known to devour their own young when no other nourishment is available. Their offspring, the imps, sometimes manage to flee and band together with other demon spawn. They rove in vicious packs, ready to descend upon the unwary traveler and rip his body to shreds with their tiny needle-sharp teeth.
Scavengers are ugly, pathetic creatures who survive off of carrion and corpses, too diseased to attract any other carnivores. I did once meet a raggedy fellow who claimed that he had trained one of the beasts to bring him large rats to eat. But I'm sure the story is utter nonsense. Some devious little goblins have been robbing our merchants. When pursued, they simply open portals and disappear with the most aggravating chuckle. The peasantry seem to believe that the goblins serve a great demon lord known as Greed. And furthermore, that their portals lead to Greed's domain. A ludicrous notion, truly.
The grotesques may seem slow and senseless, but they hide many dangers within their hideously malformed bodies. A set of spikes lurks beneath the monster's flesh, and foul parasites nest within them. It is said that these horrors themselves are constructed by a greater evil, a darkness that I cannot even fathom. Some foul new disease has taken hold in this land, and the carrion bats are near the heart of it. Since returning to Tristram, I have seen their numbers surge. The evil forces that linger here give them strength, and I fear that the worst is yet to come. I will never forget the first time I saw these horrors shambling out of the misty woods. Our loved ones, buried long ago, rose from their graves and began to attack the living. However, the risen dead were only the beginning. The Zatarum high priests in Kurast proclaimed Leoric king of Honduras many years ago. He ruled well until Diablo's influence drove him mad, and the loyal knight Lac Danan was forced to slay him. Afterward, Diablo himself raised Leoric from the dead as the Skeleton King, until the monarch's son, Aiden, vanquished him